Orlando. Happy birthday belatedly.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
And I
You're
wonder
such a
what
tender man, Jerry.
I appreciate you.
Sorry?
I said, you're such a tender man. I appreciate you.
Well, I do my best. I wonder what it says to you guys to beat a pretty good Alabama team, a ranked team, without Xavier and Ty.
It says that we've got a really good, complete team, and we've been able to build a mentality of the next man up mentality, understanding that throughout the season you're going to be faced with challenges, you're going to be faced with obstacles, you're going to deal with injuries, and all it means is that it gives someone else an opportunity to step up and do what the team needs for us to try to win. And the Alabama game was a great example of that.
And how different is the challenge LSU presents as opposed to Alabama?
Well, I mean, it's the same challenge. Obviously, the difference is the style of play. LSU, as you all know, is one of the top defending defensive teams in the country in terms of how they try to press you and mix up the game. They're very active. They're averaging about 15, forcing teams in about 15 to 16 turnovers a game. A lot of steals. They're very handsy. So it's going to be key for us to make sure that we handle their pressure, the different kind of presses that they have, full court, 3/4 court, zones. They throw a lot out there to try to get teams confused, and we're going to have to manage those and take care of the ball and value the ball and try to stay out of a lot of live ball turnovers as much as we can.
Yeah, Orlando, I wondered, after watching Keon and Jacob play so well together, is kind of your reaction to that even better than what you anticipated? Or did you say, hey, we knew they were going to do that?
No, we kind of have seen both of their development and progression throughout the season. Obviously getting a chance to be and play with those guys being that long and athletic, both at the wing and the 4 spot, allows you the benefit of doing a lot of different things. Fortunately for us, that they move really well. They can defend multiple positions, and they can play off of one another. The same could be said for Davion and Kellen. And when you have that kind of versatility on your team, it allows you to play different ways.
Hey, Coach, when you look back on Saturday, are you still kind of amazed by how quickly the switch flipped on when you're down by 13, and then you're able to string baskets together, and then after that it seemed like guys just stepped up and really filled the void in a way they couldn't those first 15 minutes?
No, I just knew that Alabama came out really hot, and we knew that the game is played over 40 minutes, and we just had to get back to our defensive principles and getting on the other side of the court where we can make open shots. And what you saw was, our defense improved, and it led to us being able to get some easier shots that we can make. And once we were able to turn the tide a little bit, no pun intended, we were able to get into a nice groove.
As a follow-up, was that the kind of reaction, I guess, when you talk about adversity and response to it, without 2 players, was that the kind of response that you all had been hoping for maybe in previous games when you're missing Ty or missing Xavier?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when the games that we've missed those guys were in-game adjustments, and that's really hard to try to do. Some of this stuff was we were able to prepare a little differently for the way we wanted to play, not having them, practice and those kind of things, understanding that they were not going to be available. So now we know how to play that way if and when we have to play that way in the future. And if something happens in game where we need to adjust, we'll be better prepared for that because of the versatility of our team. And we got to give a lot of credit to Davion and to Kellen for the way they handled and managed the game for us.
Hello, coach. Hope you're doing well. What impressed you most about the progress of this team made game by game, week by week, month by month so far in the season, and about the versatility of this group? How versatile you feel you are this season?
I think what's impressed us, it has been the different ways that we've had to figure out how to win, whether it's in a tight game in the 50s and the 60s, or in a game where we think we're going to have to play in the 60s, and we go, holy moly, no, we're going to have to score this ball and win in the 90s. So being able to have that range and ability to score and defend and play multiple ways because of your versatility, it lends well for being able to have success in the season and in the postseason.
Orlando, what is the status of Wheeler and Washington for tomorrow? And have you seen them since the game last Saturday?
John, that's a great question. I don't know because I have not seen them yet before practice.
With this team, it seems like that not just the fan base, but nationally, they've kind of captured people's hearts. And yet Coach Cal always says that there's still a lot of haters out there, a lot of people against Kentucky. You're kind of an objective kind of guy. What's your feeling on the love-hate meter out there in regards to this particular team?
I think you have a little bit of everything. Obviously, we've got unbelievable young men that represent the university and the program really well. They've got a lot of personality. They're well liked. They've got unbelievable background and stories, and come from special families, and it's a team that you can tell really cares for one another, and that endears a lot of people that can appreciate that. Which on the other side of that coin means there are a lot of teams that don't like that because they don't want to see the Kentuckys of having success and having, the success that we're having right now. They'll obviously, you're going to have some haters when you have the kind of success that this program is having.
Jerry, back to you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you just generically, if you're going up against a guy that has a knack for taking charges, how does that impact the planning? How do you counter that, or do you?
It depends. It depends how they take their charges. Is it a guard that likes to slide in under you? Is it a big man that likes to flop when you drop your shoulder? So it depends, and we're aware of guys and their tendencies as part of our part of doing our background and preparing and the game preparation for teams is what they do, what the tendencies are, and just to be aware of those. And we try to make sure that our student athletes are alerted and aware that, okay, these guys like to take charges. These guys are very handsy. They like to reach. So you got to be strong. You got to work to get open, and you can't put the ball in front of them. You got to make sure you're ripping it, you're protecting it, you're strong with it when you're making your passes and as you work to get open.
Is part of dealing with that I would think there's frustration if I'm driving and I think the guy flopped. I might get out of character from that. Is there some counseling there involved?
Absolutely. Well, the frustration will come when you're not prepared for that. And you have an emotional response. And we talk to our guys about, emotional intelligence and being mature about how you respond to things. Those calls are things that are never going to get overturned with an emotional reaction. You let the coaches deal with that and talk to the referees. You just keep playing.
Thanks.
Tyler Thompson.
Hey, Coach O. So you've coached a National Player of the Year candidate in Kofi Coburn. What do you think makes Oscar uniquely qualified for the award this year? And if he were to come back to Kentucky for another season, what could he add to his game?
Great question. I think, Oscar and the season that he's having in terms of what he's doing statistically, that's something that hasn't been done in 30, 40 years, and averaging almost 15 points and 15 rebounds a game, and doing it night in and night out. When you look up and it's a 20 and 14 and it's like ho hum, it's impressive. I think what we can continue to help add to his game, if we're fortunate to get him back, there's a lot. There's a lot to add to him. There's a lot to his ball handling. There's a lot to his passing, and obviously continue to extend his range in terms of his shooting. But I think that's something that we'll be able to address. If we're fortunate enough to get him back in the future. Obviously he's gotten better as the year has progressed in terms of showing his range out to 15, 17 feet. We've challenged him now on making sure that he's in a position defensively to sit and guard guys when we have to go into shortened clock situations and he has to switch onto a guard. And he's showed the capacity to do that. So we're going to keep challenging him. And as you know, as coaches, we're never satisfied. We want to keep adding to their games. We want to keep challenging them. When they give us what we've asked, we're going to ask for more because we think they're capable of giving us more.
Larry Bach.
Orlando, does the game he had Saturday give Kellen any more confidence, or is there such a thing as him ever needing any more confidence?
Kellen is such a confident kid. I don't think he needed that kind of a game to give him more confidence. But it was great to see because if anybody's deserving, it's Kellen. He works extremely hard, and he's such a positive kid, such a great piece of our team. And everybody jokes with him about him being the granddad, and he has a kind of a granddad approach to the team in terms of his worldly vision and his ability to communicate about a lot of things that are going on. And we're fortunate to be able to have him and get a chance to coach him.
Jerry, finish us off. So Keon in here.
Yeah, I remember early in the season asking you, Oscar got the ball in the post and he seemed indecisive. Like, what's he going to do? You said he was considering too many options. Now he seems he seems decisive. He gets the ball pretty quickly. Boom. He's making his move. How did that change?
It changed just by repetition and he and I spending a lot of time in the gym and talking through and showing him film about, okay, what are you thinking here? What are you doing? Yeah, I'm thinking too much. Yeah, you're thinking too much. Just be quick and simple. Where you're doing your work before you receive the ball. Once you receive the ball in the paint area, it's to get fouled, to get to the basket, to finish. And then after that, you let your instincts take over. So I think we've simplified a lot of things for him, and it's really helped his game blossom.